Matt Kemp and I think Harry Kenyon on as well today. Matt's going to be presenting the gentlemen are senior account managers with Quantum and have worked with JBGoodwin Realtors for quite a while. Know the company very well, know the products inside and out. So we're pleased to have them here today. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce Matt now and let him go ahead and get started. And we'll be taking your questions and we'll stop periodically. If you would all, as always, please unmute or mute yourselves. Matt, if you're there, feel free to please take it away.
I am here, and thank you for that intro, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
As he said, Matt here from Quantum Digital. Just going to give you a quick rundown on direct mail practices, kind of the methodology that Quantum Digital uses, and how we fit into the larger media mix that you as realtors will use successfully. So one of the things that we like to say is we're not the only tool in your chest. We should be one of many. And we'll kind of run through how you could best use direct mail and direct mail practices to better fit into your entire media mix and really tighten up your marketing operations. So as we move forward, go ahead and chat in any of your questions. Tony is going to be moderating those. He'll be able to jump in, answer those questions, and I'll be able to add in as well. So we're going to run through kind of how Quantum Digital sees marketing reality whenever it comes to listings. Kind of do a quick overview of the Quantum system, a little look at the real estate sales funnel, look at how we use data-driven marketing and how it fits into a larger picture, a little bit of the card anatomy and kind of the reason why we do what we do whenever it comes to the layout of the card. Obviously, we're going to have to touch on COVID-19 and kind of how that's affecting our reality right now, being that it's unique times, and then some key takeaways and Q&A. So the way Quantum Digital sees it and the way we approach direct mail to marketing in general is everything is revolving around listings. So you're going to do your prospecting operations, you're going to do your marketing operations, you're going to do your networking operations, but all of those really revolve around listings. So what Quantum Digital offers is things that most of you may be aware of, farming. So this is whenever you're going to be prospecting a new neighborhood, you want to set yourself as a market expert for this area. Through farming, you're going to start getting your listings. So then you're going to start doing just listed and just sold operations. After that, you're going to be staying in touch with all of these folks that you've touched with throughout your prospecting and marketing. So all of these operations are revolving around listings. So whenever you look at it a little bit more linearly, it kind of looks like the sales process, or maybe the marketing funnel, if you will. So you're going to have to farm an area, then you're going to have to do just listed, just sold, and then you're going to want to stay in touch. So things that we offer are, we'll say for farming, monthly direct mail, farming prospecting. This would be your Automail, where you set up your targeted direct mail for those areas. Just listed and just sold. Most of y'all should be very aware of that. We also have our Facebook ads. And then whenever you're gathering all of these contacts, you're adding them to your SOI, you're going to want to stay in touch. So that's where it goes also to our farming, lead nurturing, client follow-up, things like that. So sales funnel, everybody should be aware of this, but as it applies directly to a seller and where direct mail fits in, people get aware of your product or service. You as a realtor, you as your office, JBGoodwin in general, through, we'll say, either web ads, postcards. So whenever they engage with those postcards, they're showing their interest. And then whenever they contact you, that's either through lead form on some type of online or digital assets, phone call or email coming from, we'll say, maybe direct mail or any other advertising that they get. And then once they go into the transaction stage, then they become a client. But as you see throughout this process, direct mail will either be able to bring someone all the way through that funnel, or at least bring them into the funnel with other assets, and you as your efforts as a realtor to work them through that. So this is just kind of showcasing how we are one piece of the puzzle, not the entire puzzle itself. So once somebody gets through that transactional level, they don't completely leave your world. So they're going to need to be able to. Sorry, I have a yellow lab that's going bonkers right now. So whenever they get through the funnel and they get to that contractual stage, that doesn't mean that they leave the funnel. So through things like direct mail, email, phone calls, with whatever frequency you choose, you're going to be able to do something like set up an SOI nurturing to be able to utilize that secondary funnel. So whenever people, whenever they get through that contractual stage, there's this longer play, this nurturing aspect that you need to keep in mind, and direct mail is a great way to do that for them to come in with their secondary purchases. These are things that are going to be 18 months to 2 years to 5 years out. So here's a little bit different look at the revolving lead funnel. So think of every operation that you're doing whenever it comes to marketing, whether it be writing letters, digital assets, email blast, phone calls, whatever. All of these things are in efforts to put somebody into your funnel. So direct mail is, again, just one piece of the puzzle, not the entire puzzle itself. So start thinking of how direct mail fits in to your larger media mix. If you're doing heavily digital assets and only farming a neighborhood area, this would be something where you can tie in direct mail and all of your digital assets into MoxieWorks. So Quantum Digital is fully integrated with JBGoodwin and MoxieWorks. All of your leads that are coming from direct mail from Quantum Digital, those are going to feed directly into MoxieWorks. So this is all efforts to, once somebody gets into your funnel, if for some reason they leave, you're able to still follow up with them and still pull them back into the funnel. So you're going to still have all of your web assets, all of your digital assets, your emails, your phone call, like everything is still working in tandem to bring folks back into the funnel and get them to that purchase level. So an example of what I spoke to earlier, that data-driven marketing, as most of you know, Just Listed and Just Sold, we do have our advice of 100 cards per listing, but really you just need to get some type of marketing out there to establish yourself as that local expert. So the methodology behind this direct mail is, whenever you do a Just Listed, it's not you promoting the house, it's promoting you as the agent being the local expert. So whenever neighbors see and get those cards, they realize, oh wow, Sally Woods, she is moving a considerable amount of property in my area. She must be the local expert. So that's where that lead generation comes in. And anytime somebody engages with that card, you're continuing to add them to your SOI. So anything that you do direct mail wise, it should be selling you and not the home. So everything is in an effort to add to your SOI and really pack that future pipeline really solidly. So for Just Listed and Just Sold, it's kind of works the same way as the farming. Everything is very data driven. We have all of these data assets that go along with through the card and redirect folks to these data assets. Whether for Just Listed and Just Sold, it goes to that property listings page. For something like farming, it's going to give the user a market snapshot of their area. You can kind of see that there. It'll show some sales trends and some sales activity in in that user's area. This is all in an effort to provide you, the agent, with with that data-centric look, but then also providing that user with those immediate assets. They get that all of that information that they wanted right off the bat. So whenever it comes to choosing which area to target, there should be a lot of areas in your market that you would prefer to be the premier agent in. Now, whenever you're looking at an area, you should look at things like what is the listing cycle there? How many other agents have a presence in there? So what we would advise is, if somebody has 25% of market share within a neighborhood, anything more than that, it's probably going to be very difficult and very expensive to carve out your own market share in that neighborhood. So definitely farm neighborhoods that you're comfortable in, you're knowledgeable in, and you don't necessarily have to live in them, but you definitely don't want to use your money non-intelligently and go into these very volatile, very high-end, very competitive markets. So whenever you're setting up your farming campaigns, think of it as a 9 to 18 month to 24-month cycle. That farming is the long game. So you're going to want to go ahead and prepare yourself for packing your pipeline over a series of months and years. Now, looking into the anatomy of the card, this is
Matt?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just thought I'd give you a breath here. It's Tony. Does anybody on have any questions for Matt at this point before we get into the cards themselves?
I have a question, and maybe I just missed this, but you're talking about a neighborhood that's already 25% kind of taken by other realtors. Where would you find that information? How would you determine that?
Well, I mean, you would be able to look at what type of advertising is taking place in within that neighborhood. You could look on what type of ads are being placed through social media, like on Facebook. If you go to a realtor's page on the left-hand side, it'll have info and ads, and you'll be able to see all of the ads that are being placed on behalf of that business page. Really, it just comes into to research. I don't have anything like any one-stop shop for you to say who has the market share within there, but it would be just kind of your research on that neighborhood itself. If you come to find that there's a large presence of other realtors, or if you see a lot more signs in the front yards of a different brokerage, just things like that. So I mean, there's really no hardcore concrete way to figure that out. It would just be more so you doing research on that neighborhood.
And I'm gonna drop a link in here real quick. This is Edward. I don't know if everyone can hear me. Mark Morrow has a geo farming video and like a formula he uses to try to track that down to see who has market share, if that neighborhood is going to have some sort of ROI. So I'm going to drop that link into the chat real quick.
Thank you. I have a question too. Could you go over the high listing, low competition area? I missed that. I'm sorry. Explain that.
Right. So whenever it comes to farming a neighborhood, we would advise you to your money would be best spent in a low competition area and something that has a high turnover of listings. So if there's a neighborhood that you find the average homeowner stays in their home 15 to 20 years, that wouldn't be considered a high listing turnover. It would be something more of like maybe an up-and-coming neighborhood, something being gentrified, something near a city center that's being built up. I mean, this is just consider it, food for thought, not so much in line. These are the things you have to do. It really all just comes down to doing research in that market, and definitely using something like Edward just provided. Great tool to get all the information on these neighborhoods that you want to farm before you go in there, just to make sure that you have all the information and you're spending your money as intelligently as possible.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep. So going into the anatomy of the card, this is just to give you a little bit of method behind what we do. Everything that Quantum does is very personalized, and we do that through our data-driven marketing. So every card that goes to a house, it's going to be personalized with that homeowner's name. We refresh our data every 30 to 90 days. So if a new homeowner takes over that property, you're going to get that updated data within 1 to 3 months. So you may have noticed that on your just listed and just sold cards, there's not square footage, bedroom, bath, how much the sell price was, or the listing price, and we do that to spark interest. So think back to that lead funnel. Everything that we do is to entice folks to reach out to you, the realtor, and by that, leading them right into your sales funnel and your marketing funnel. So every bit of marketing operations that we do is very sales driven, very sales, marketing, and lead funnel driven. Also, we utilize the space intelligently. It's very in line and very on brand for JBGoodwin. So everything that JBGoodwin puts out into market from an enterprise or brokerage level, the messaging is consistent. So everything has the same look and feel. Whenever you jump online and go through your template gallery, everything has the same branding elements, and that's important to keep that messaging and branding consistency, because anytime that anyone looks at whether it be you as an individual realtor or another realtor within JBGoodwin, it's going to have that brand familiarity. So that's kind of the method behind that, and it's going to serve you individually and the brokerage as a whole very well leading forward. So I feel like we have to touch on COVID-19. It seems like things are going to start getting a little bit more back to normal. But with any type of messaging or communication that you have with folks, these probably wouldn't be considered best practices, but more so food for thought. I think now folks are probably still in a unique situation, whether it be with work, life in general. So any communication for the time being, we would advise that you provide value and something of meaning. It's kind of a slippery slope and a thin line to walk of still wanting to provide a product or service, but not be inconsiderate or too salesy. So some examples of communication would have of asking folks, hey, if you have any questions of how this COVID-19 situation has affected the market, let me know. I have some answers for you. So you're going to be able to really guide these folks through these unique times, whether it be through normal real estate operations like e-filing, virtual meetings, virtual tours, things like that. You have an opportunity to kind of guide folks through these unique times. Of course, keeping in mind the economic climate, it's just something to consider. But also, you're establishing yourself as a market expert, but also a member of the community. So I think it'd be a great situation for you establish yourself as someone who's going to help bring everyone stronger on the other side, whether it be as an agent, as a team, as a community, as a brokerage. But right now, a good frame of mind to have is when times are good, you should market. Whenever times are unique or difficult, you have to market. So this is a really great time for you to not only establish yourself as a community leader or as someone as an expert within your area, but now is the time to kind of gain market share, continue those marketing operations, ramp them up if you can, and really carve out some market share for yourself and establish yourself as a prominent figure within the community. So the key takeaways here, you should always be prospecting, marketing, and networking, whether it be through direct mail. Obviously, Quantum Digital would prefer utilizing direct mail within all those operations. But no matter where you are in that process, in your year, whether it's in or out of listing season, those operations should always be going on. Every chance you get to interact with potential clients should be a chance to pull them into your funnel. So every communication point, think of that as, all right, I'm gonna need to get this information, whether it be address for direct mail, email address, phone number, any of these things. All of your operations are gonna, tie in directly into getting folks into that funnel. And again, marketing and SOI follow-up is so very important, because just because someone leaves that funnel doesn't mean that you can't nurture them back in or have them reach out to you whenever it's their time to sell or their time to buy. And then as a whole, overall, you're going to want to provide valuable information to your audience, because everything that you're doing is showcasing yourself as the market expert. You're the go-to person within this community, within this area, within this neighborhood, whether it's buying or selling. So that's how you should showcase yourself with every bit of communication you do. And kind of things that I touched on earlier, direct mail does that as it fits in with with all of your other marketing operations. So to end that, here's some terms. I'm just going to go and skip over those because everybody should be aware of those. We are offering a 20% off all farming. So that code is JB20. That is going to be running till the end of May, and highly advise everybody take advantage of that. That is not only 20% off 1 month, that's 20% off every single mailing. So now is the time to farm. Now is the time to use the promo code. Be sure to take advantage of it while it lasts. And of course, if you have any questions whatsoever, we are lucky enough to have our expert sales support team to be able to work remotely until we get back in the office. So they are still fully there and ready to help you out, whether it be account-based stuff or set up marketing campaigns for you. There's the email and phone number. And I think we can open it up for questions.
Matt, we had someone asking, does the code work for just listed, just sold cards as well? Do we know that?
It does not. So this particular code is only for the farming.
Okay. Does anybody else want to, you can throw a question into the chat, or if you want to unmute and ask Matt a question about anything. Matt, if we don't have too many questions, can I ask you to just spend a couple of minutes on Automail Plus in general and just kind of remind folks about that program? And some of the folks on the call are new to the company, and can you just pitch us Automail for a second?
Absolutely. Let me jump back to. Okay, so Automail is our farming tool. So it's very easy to use. It's very set it and forget it. And what it is used for is for you to establish a neighborhood that you want to start marketing to, you're able to basically target that neighborhood, whether it be drawing a line on a map or picking streets, however you want to do it. You're able to target and select that neighborhood. And then you're able to get a series. So Quantum Digital offers, I believe, 17 different series, whether it be home improvement tips, recipes, how to boost your home value, interior design, things like that. You're able to pick from a pretty wide selection of series. And then you kind of select your months and what cards you want to go out for the year. And then you click order now, and then you're done. So it's a very, very automated, very easy way for you to carve out a neighborhood, market to that neighborhood, and kind of watch them leads come in. So the way the leads work is, as you can see here on this card, there is a QR code and a URL that is going to be specific to that address. So whenever I get this card and I say, I want to understand my real estate market, so I'm going to use the QR code and see what information this has to offer. So that QR code is going to send the user to a market snapshot that looks similar to this. It's going to be specific to that address, so it's going to give them an approximate home valuation right there. It's going to be a pretty wide range, and that's by design. And so it entices the user to contact you, the agent, more, so they could think, oh, wow, my home's between 385 and 510. I wonder if it's on the high end. I should contact this real estate agent. So all of this data is going to be specific to that area, to that user. So we're going to be able to provide sales trends and market activity for them. One of our newer cards, which is it's pretty fantastic, actually. This is what we call a market report card, as you can see here on the left. So that's going to provide the homeowner with sales data in their area. So it's going to have your home, it's going to have a map of your neighborhood, and it's going to have all the properties that have sold there within, I believe, 60 days. So it's going to show them, wow, there's actually homes turning over in this area pretty quickly. So that's a real great piece of, as we spoke to earlier, that data-driven marketing. So it's providing that user with that information right off the bat. So once somebody engages with this card, you're going to get an email immediately saying, Matt Kemp at 123 Main Street just engaged with your card. Follow up with them. So it's a really easy way for you to kind of set it and forget it. As I said earlier, these are coming in at 83 cents per card. You're able to use your marketing dollars for them. They're branded JBGoodwin. It's really a very easy way for you to just knock out marketing operations for these targeted areas that you want to start operating.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, I wanted to say, so for us at JBGoodwin, Matt said he covered before that any leads, right, any new leads from these campaigns will feed into Moxie Engage. And then in Moxie Engage, you can set up a group, right? It's a part of your sphere, and you can sync it over to Quantum Digital. And so that group that's synced with the Automail market report cards, as you add people to and remove them from the group in Moxie Engage, it'll update every month in Quantum Digital. So that allows you can start with as little as 10 people in your sphere that you have the home address for, sync that over to Quantum Digital, and set that every month. And then with that same campaign, you can then go in and add additional lists, which could be neighborhoods or zip codes or streets. But I dropped a link into the Automail farming training page, which covers a lot of that. And then anyone who has any questions, y'all can just email me, Edward at JBGoodwin, if you have questions on how to set up that group and sync it from MoxieWorks to Quantum.
Right. Hey, Matt, we have a question. You referred to set it and forget it. And the question is, do the agents have the ability to pick different cards, each month throughout the year, that sort of thing?
Yes. So whenever you jump into your dashboard, you click the Quantum button through the boss system. You're able to select a series and then switch out cards from other series. So basically, you can get as customizable as you want or need to. You can either just use the exact series that we have, or you can mix and match. But you're also able to edit that text on the front and back. So if you want to get something very specific to, we'll say, my neighborhood, Cambridge Estates. If you want to have very specific Cambridge Estates messaging on there, you're able to do that.
Okay, fantastic. Someone's asking about, this has come up before, the ability to send out 2 Automail campaigns a month, and why not?
Why we do once a month?
Why can't the agent necessarily send out twice a month?
Right. So the way that we are able to keep the pricing at what it is has a lot to do with postage. So a large part of our cost is postage, and that's something that we can't really negotiate on. So the way that we keep the cost per card as low as possible for the agent is to do once a month bulk mailing. So that if we wanted to offer up something that would be more independently first class, it would just be at a much higher cost, and on an enterprise level, it wouldn't be of value to the agents, and it wouldn't be of value to the brokerage. So really, it comes down to us being able to provide the lowest cost possible to all of y'all.
Right. Okay. Thanks for that, Matt.
Yep.
Anybody else? Does anybody else want to unmute and ask Matt anything at all? Okay. Edward, did you want to add anything else?
No, that's it. I'll follow up an email to everyone with the links that I dropped in the chat. There's a lot of information on the hub with videos and click-through instructions on how to set a lot of this up. But your office managers, your sales managers are also familiar with Quantum. So if you have any questions, we're here to help. And I do want to say Quantum support is probably 50% of the reason we chose them. So Monday through Friday, Quantum also has live support. They have chat, email, phone calls. They're really, really good about following up, helping you out with any issues.
Right. I appreciate those those words, Edward. I mean, yeah, our customer service folks are subject matter experts. They love helping people, and again, we're fortunate enough to have them work from home and still be able to jump in y'all's accounts, answer any questions for you, set up any type of campaign. We're still rocking and rolling. So yeah, they're there if you need them.
Wonderful. Fantastic. Well, listen, thanks everyone for joining us. I hope you got some great information out of this. As always, we'll have a recording of the presentation that you can watch back. And have a great day and weekend, everyone. Matt,
All right,
thanks so much.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah,
Thanks, Gary. Tony.